Silent Hill is considered one of the most iconic psychological horror games of all time. The games are centered around the foggy, desolate, and eerie town that the game is named after, where the boundaries of reality and the supernatural are blurred, and has a unique power that draws individuals who are burdened by guilt, trauma, and inner demons. Which just sounds like my brain at the peak of my depression. Hello traveler, my name is Anissa, the Mythical Maven, and if you like immersive deep dives, captivating commentary, and more, then you've come to the right place. Today, I want to explain why I think Pyramid Head is James Sunderland's Boogeyman. And it's like, yeah, we know that Pyramid Head is a manifestation of James's tortured psyche, but I want to basically correlate Pyramid Head to the literal Boogeyman in folklore. And you might be questioning, Anissa, why does it look like something was ripped out of your chest? And to that I say, I am 100% a Mary sympathizer. If I was literally being smothered to death by my own husband, even if I was terminally ill, I feel like it would literally feel like my heart was being ripped out of my chest. So this is for Mary. For James Sunderland in Silent Hill 2, the town manifests as his subconscious and reflects his guilt, desires, and repressed memories, where he's forced to confront the consequences of his actions. James had a wife named Mary, who suffered from a terminal illness and was given 3 years to live. The relationship went from being filled with love and affection to sadness and despair. Mary was admitted to a hospital where James began to visit her less and less due to her constant lashing out at him. And because of this, James turned to alcohol to cope. I mean, not only is the love of his life terminally ill with no hope of treatment, but because of this, she was filled with anger and emotional turmoil, and her loved ones, especially James, were the target of her frustrations. This was difficult for everyone involved. During the progression of Mary's illness, James's emotions became more complex. He deeply loved his wife and became increasingly anguished by her suffering. However, at the same time, he was scared, depressed, mentally, and sexually frustrated. It became even harder for James to cope when Mary came home, where she would live only a short while longer. With being Mary's primary caretaker, James began to feel hopeless and helpless. Everything started to become overwhelming, and James made the extremely difficult decision to kill Mary, smothering her with a pillow. He believed that this was freeing her from the agony she was experiencing. However, there's no denying that James murdering his wife was also a reflection of his own psychological struggles, and in a way, freeing himself too. After killing her, he put her corpse in the back of his car and took it to Silent Hill, where they had vacation before she fell ill. Following her death, James became full of unimaginable guilt, grief, and anguish. I'd hope none of us has experienced the whirlwind of emotions that would come after killing your ill wife. Right? 3 years later, James comes back to Silent Hill due to a letter that was seemingly written by Mary that asked James to meet her at their special place. James was rightfully confused by this because Mary is literally dead and has been for years. So he travels to Silent Hill desperate for answers. Along with other creatures that personify James's guilt and desire for punishment, Pyramid Head is the most prominent. He is a haunting and extremely intimidating figure that represents the dark and tortured aspects of James's psyche. He is characterized by his large pyramid-shaped helmet, tattered and bloodied butcher's apron, massive rusty sword, and some pretty nice muscles. Not only is his iconic helmet a unique and terrifying design choice, it's the metaphorical weight of remorse that James feels, and he drags along his monstrous blade as a symbol of the heavy burden of James's guilt. Pyramid Head is associated with violent and sexualized imagery, reflecting James's repressed desires and the punishment he believes he deserves. Throughout the game, Pyramid Head appears as a relentless pursuer of James, but he's not just a tormentor. He's also a twisted form of salvation. His purpose is not to end James's life, but to force him to look into the mirror of his soul and confront his demons. The Boogeyman in folklore, although not having a specific appearance, is depicted across many different cultures as a malevolent entity or monster that is used to frighten children into good behavior. Especially in modern adaptations of the Boogeyman, it is known to lurk in the shadows, hide underneath beds or in closets, waiting to scare the ever-living out of naughty children. Authority figures will tell the terrifying tales of the Boogeyman to teach children about consequences, safety, and the importance of following the rules. It seems like a fairly unhinged way to teach these lessons, but that's just me. Modern media has taken great inspiration from this folklore. Some iconic depictions of Boogeyman-like figures are Freddy Krueger from A Nightmare on Elm Street, and in the Hollywood franchise, Michael Myers was referred to as the Boogeyman throughout the series. We also have direct interpretations with the Boogeyman film trilogy. And even Oogie Boogie from The Nightmare Before Christmas is often called the Boogeyman. And let's not forget the 1999 classic Disney movie Don't Look Under the Bed. While the Boogeyman haunts the minds of children, for James, Pyramid Head acts as the constant reminder that the consequences for murdering his wife are the overwhelming feelings of guilt, agony, and self-punishment that he may never fully recover from. The The only way James escapes Pyramid Head's torment is when he finally realizes the fact that it was a shackle keeping him from facing the truth and finally acknowledging and owning up to the sin he committed. Pyramid Head is even referred to as the Boogeyman in Silent Hill Homecoming, following the protagonist Alex Shepard, a soldier who returns to his hometown of Shepherd's Glen. And throughout the game, Alex uncovers the dark secrets of Shepherd's Glen and its connection to the nearby town of Silent Hill. He learns about a cult known as the Order, which has been conducting sinister rituals and sacrifices in order to maintain the power of Silent Hill. He also comes to find that his family has a deep connection to the town's dark history. So, 150 years ago, the 4 founding families broke away from Silent Hill's Order to move to Shepherd's Glen, with Alex Shepard's family being one of them. The condition was that once every 50 years, they would sacrifice one of their own children. That's some toxic behavior. So, I put quotes around soldier because Alex was never a soldier. He has been in a mental hospital since the accident. When Alex was younger, he and his brother went rowing on a lake. Josh had shown Alex a ring that was given to him by his father instead of Alex. And fueled by jealousy, Alex tried to take the ring from Josh. And during the struggle, Josh accidentally fell into the lake and drowned. After retrieving Josh's body from the water, Alex's dad explained that Alex had ruined it for all of us because Alex was chosen to be the sacrifice. Unable to accept his brother's death, he was hospitalized. Pyramid Head shows up in the game a few times, one main one being the execution of Alex's father, and in one of the endings where he becomes his boogeyman. If he's unable to forgive his parents and move past his trauma, he becomes the monster that plagues his dreams. James Sunderland is a complex character. He did an extremely horrible act for seemingly both selfish and selfless reasons. It can be argued that he killed his wife to eliminate her suffering as well as his own, but maybe it was just an excuse to free himself. I do think it's very nuanced and not so black and white. I mean, he was a husband riddled with fear and despair, but I do think we can all agree that James killing Mary wasn't solely just to ease her own suffering. And while not being a heinous human, this was a truly heinous act. And I think the fact that Pyramid Head even exists is a testament to the humanity within James. If he felt no guilt or remorse, Pyramid Head simply wouldn't exist. James needed Pyramid Head in order to face his demons. Just like the boogeyman keeps children in line, Pyramid Head kept James accountable. And that's on what? Period.